and Sights, and today we are making vocal effects. My thing should actually say, "Welcome to Sounds and Sights with your host Nick Signs," because that's who the fuck I am. But anyway, so basically, yeah, as I mentioned, what I'm gonna do is just record just some placeholder template vocals, and then one of the things that I want to do is basically just try out weird little echoes, delays. I've never really spent a ton of time just individually creating effects tracks for vocals, and it's something that I noticed in finishing this last round of songs that I'm doing that I didn't have enough of. There were kind of these spaces in between my vocal phrases that sounded a little unnatural, or would have been better, glued together either by some other effects or something. But specifically, I want to try doing it with vocal effects. So basically, anytime, if I went at that last little phrase, it could be or it could be just basically some glue. So let's get in there. Let's try out. This is my last stream. Something was messed up, so let me see. Nice. I'm not really missing too many frames, so that's good. So I guess if this shit starts blowing up, then I will know. Nice. Okay, so I haven't really missed any frames, so that's good to know. All right, so let's do put on my headphones. I'm just gonna record I don't even know, just some template vocals. What would be a good song? Mad World. All around me are familiar faces. Do that. Let's see. Ba ba. There we go. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. All around me are And what are the lyrics? I was thinking about this. Worn out places, worn out faces. Bright and early for the daily races. Bright and early for the daily races. Going nowhere. Going nowhere. Alright, so let's play around with it. All around me are familiar faces. All around me are familiar faces. Bright and early for the daily races. Going nowhere. Going nowhere. Alright, so that's our main vocal. So, all right, let's, we can go back to normal mode. All around me are familiar faces. So I guess, how do I want to do this? One of the things that I have that I haven't really used a whole lot is Echo Boy, which I know is used a ton. So I kind of want to see what's going on. So let's take the end of a phrase here. Although this is pretty dense, actually. All around me are familiar faces, worn out faces. We'll take that last phrase. Faces, worn out places, faces. Maybe let's do it as a send. My camera is blocking the fucking thing. Let's try this. There you go. Y'all can still see me, right? All right, we'll move this over here so you can see. All right. We're doing this thing. We're doing this. Now let's see. Cool. All right, we're still doing all right. So faces. Ooh, that one's kind of cool. Faces. Ooh, I like that one. Okay, so this is all around me are familiar faces. Then we can do, where's the mix? Faces, worn out place. I can honestly do the whole thing. All around me are familiar faces. So let's do ascend with this thing on full blast. Reverb. All around me are familiar. And then I'm gonna do auto tune because when I'm doing reverb, I can really tell if it's not quite in tune. So I usually just do auto tune blasted. Auto tune pro. We'll add it before. Hey, what key is this in? I didn't sing it with any piano, so da da da. Oh, I can try my new button. So I made a new button that literally, it's on my stream deck. I don't know if you can see it here. Hold on, let me put on my webcam. It's right here. I made a button that literally says Serum. So watch this. I'm going to press that shit, and it's going to open up Serum with a new track. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pew! No? Oh, I needed to be in here. Okay, try it again. 1, 2, 3. Pew! It's so fucking sick. Oh my god. Okay, so let's see what key we're in. So F minor. So low male, F minor, tracking down a bit because we're clean vocals here. Retune speed, high, flex. Well, I guess for this, we're going to max it. And then for our regular vocals, we can relax it. We ain't maxing it, we're relaxing it. Familiar faces. Is that right? That's F minor, right? What the fuck? Familiar faces, worn out places. All around me are familiar. All around me are familiar faces. Maybe I need to re-sing it because I didn't have any music. Try it again. Sorry, it's probably out of tune. Da da da. All around me are familiar faces. Da. All around me are familiar faces. Is that better? All around me are familiar faces. All around me are familiar faces. Worn out places. Worn out places. Worn out. Worn out places. Worn out faces. Worn out places. Worn out faces. I think it's F minor. Worn out early for the day. Bright. Nah, da. Bright. Bright and early for the daily races. Going nowhere. Da 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 da. Bright and early for the daily races. Going nowhere. Da 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 da. So boom. Put it in the send. The auto tune. There we go. All around me are familiar faces. Worn out places. Worn out faces. Bright and early for the daily races. Oh, I almost wonder if we could do like a little bit of saturation. Faces, worn out faces, worn out faces, bright faces. That's kind of cool. going to bring down the kind of...
Faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. Faces.
Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to put that there. I meant to put this down here.
Faces, worn out. Faces, worn out faces, worn out faces, faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. Right.
That's kind of a cool one.
Faces, worn out faces, worn out faces.
Could even automate it, like, you know.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out faces. All around me are familiar faces, worn out faces. All around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. All around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces.
Kind of almost gives like you're in a well or something, but it's a cool one. Okay, well let's do. Or you know what? Auto tune. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's call this Focus Effects Echoey Well, Echoey Dark Well, Dark Echoey Well. Yeah.
Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces.
All right, let's see what else we can do here. And I mean, that was just, I didn't even adjust that at all.
Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces.
This one's kind of interesting. It like adds this dimension of presence. That's kind of weird.
Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces. Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces.
And it's almost like
Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces.
this is like in your head. Close and in your head. Although let's probably get rid of.
Around me are familiar faces. Around me are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. Da-da. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. Da-da. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. Da-da-da-da. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. Da-da-da-da. We are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. We are familiar faces, worn out faces, worn out faces. And early
It's kind of cool.
familiar faces.
Turn that off for you so you can see.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
This is dope. I mean, it didn't take too long to find some cool shit already. This is just with Echo Boy.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. Da da da. Familiar faces, worn out.
This one's kind of cool.
Familiar faces, familiar faces, familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
Fuck yeah. No style. Quarter note delay. I mean, that's pretty sick.
Faces, worn out places, your familiar faces, your familiar faces, your familiar faces, worn out places.
What else would be like a cool effect? Maybe like erosion? Plugins. It's an effect, audio effect, right? Yeah.
Your familiar faces, worn out places.
This would have to be.
Your familiar faces, your familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And faces, worn out places. Faces, worn out places.
I don't know if I like it.
Faces, worn out places, familiar faces, familiar faces, worn out places. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, familiar faces, worn out. Familiar faces, familiar faces, worn out places. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
Interesting.
Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn. Familiar faces, worn out. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. Da 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 da. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out. Familiar faces, worn out places. Familiar faces, worn out places. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going all around me are familiar faces, worn out places.
This is almost like a reggae type thing.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out
actually, I mean, that one's pretty cool too. What should we call this? Folk effects, distorted reggae vibes. What I want to try is Shaperbox. I'm sure we could get some cool stuff with this.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere, da da da. All around me are all around faces, worn out faces, worn faces, 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 worn out places, worn out faces, 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 worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere, da da da. Faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
Oh, didn't mean to do that.
Faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early faces,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
out faces, one million faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And a million faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere, da 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 da. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
Interesting. Keep going.
Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, going nowhere, da 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 da. Familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, faces.
What else? There was something else that I wanted to try. What was it? Oh, OTT.
Faces, worn out places, faces, 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 worn out faces, worn out places, worn out faces. Faces, 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 worn out places, worn out faces. Faces, 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 worn faces. Faces, 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 one faces, face.
Yeah, there's no way to do the bands independently. OTT instruments, doom, 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 doom.
Faces, one faces, one faces, faces, one faces, one faces, faces, one faces, one faces, faces, one faces, 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 one faces, one faces, worn out places, worn out faces, faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And faces, faces, worn out places, worn out faces, faces, worn out places, faces, faces.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the sound of that.
Faces, worn out places, worn out faces, faces, worn out places, worn out faces, and early faces, worn out places, worn out faces, and early for the daily races, going nowhere, da 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 da. Faces, worn out places, worn out faces, and early for the daily races, going nowhere, da 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 da. Faces, worn out places, faces, worn out places, worn out faces, and early faces, all around me are familiar faces. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out. All around me are familiar faces. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places. All around me are familiar faces, worn out places.
No, I want it to be rushing.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races, go all around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the daily races. All around me are familiar faces, 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 worn out places, worn out faces.
All right, I think that's a decent amount of chains right there. So
Faces all around me are familiar faces.
I also want to try like da, da, da.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces. And early for the day of faces, worn out places, worn out faces.
Roomy, distorted slightly. Yeah. All right. Dope. We got some vocal effects. And then maybe what I could do is like just put all these in one project and like play around with or I guess I could know that the automation that I want to add, like if I want to accentuate certain words, and then what I could do is just, yeah, add the automation like I'm doing now, and then just play around with adding different effects and just kind of seeing what the vibe is. So That's interesting. I like that. I think that's a good way of doing it. Cool. All right. Well, I don't need to save this template set. So these are all here. How do I find this in folder? Take these, put them in my special thing, Nick Vokes. Like, I almost need like another folder. New folder. Folks, this is going to be like effects chains. Right? And then show and finder, effects chains, boom. And then this is going to be like Nick Fox. It's going to be called, we want like a lead vocal, new folder. Lead Vokes chains. Yeah. Chains. Dope. All right. Cool. We're starting to build our like little thing here. I wish you could have more than one folder open at a time though. That's kind of fucking annoying. That's okay. All right. Sweet. And then this is synced up with my Dropbox folder. So this is the type of stuff that's going to be coming to Sounds and Sights, my new website that's coming shortly. If you're watching this right now, all these chains, they're going to be available. So be patient. Some good shit's coming. All right. Well, I think that's all I needed to do for today. Honestly, I think I'm a little tired, so I think I have what I need for today. And I'm going to relax for a little bit. And yeah, I've definitely enjoyed, in today, basically like set up these vocal chains, set up some buttons on my Stream Deck to be able to kind of do what I do more easily every day. Here, I'll go to this because I'm talking to you now. Yeah. So yeah, basically if you just want to see more Ableton music production stuff, you know where to find me. Sounds and Sights, Twitch, YouTube, and websites coming soon with all the chains and stuff that you see. I do CRM sound design. I do, recording vocals. So, kind of anything that I end up doing will end up on that site. So cool. Well, thank you so much for joining. And as always, rock on.